Well, let me ask you this. When I first got saved, I was 18. I got saved at Peachtree Road Baptist in Swanee, Georgia. I was addicted to rock and roll music. I had no idea what to listen to. I do remember as a kid on TBN, there was this guy named Bill Gaither, okay? And I thought, well, I'm a Christian now. I need to start listening to Christian music. So I just went to Walmart and bought a Gaither Homecoming album. And it was hit and miss. There was a few songs in there that weren't, really all that great. I think one of the first ones I bought was the Billy Graham tribute album, and whatever. But you got somebody out there who's listening to this channel, who is new to all this, and they recognize, I need to clean up my music, and I need to try to straighten up. But they don't know where to start. What were some guiding principles you would give? I know you're getting ready to preach a sermon on music principles. What are some principles that you would give to somebody like that?
Well, somebody's brand new to the faith, new to Christianity, they may not even fully grasp all the principles that we would offer. I would explain it to them best we can, but when I say the number one issue in our music has to be, and I think all of us agree on this, is the theology.
Yeah.
We have to start there. Even your worst Bible believer, he's going to say it's got to be theological. And so now that new Christian, they're not going to necessarily, and maybe this was your case when you got saved, you didn't have a grounding in theology. And so you may not even understand fully at that time, okay, what is good doctrine? What is theology? Now I do know where you got saved. That was a great place, and that was a great preacher. Mm-hmm. But I think what I would do with a young Christian, I would guide them in who to listen to first. Here's who I would recommend. These musicians, these groups, or that's what I would do first, and then through discipleship, help them to learn. This is why we avoid this. This is why we avoid that. And things of that nature. I would really just guide them where to go first, and then build on that through discipleship.
Sure. So just teach them first who's right, and then teach them in time what's right.
Right. Yeah. Just kind of here's some safe groups to listen to. This group will not hurt you, or this family that sings, they're going to be good. They're going to sing good music. That's what I would do first, mm-hmm. and then build on. Now, I came from a Christian background. My dad was a preacher, grew up in Christianity, so I was already singing in church. I started singing in church 5-6 years old with my mom, and then got saved when I was 21. But I grew up in it, and so I already had a foundation. But maybe from your background, being new to it. I wouldn't deal as much with theology. I would deal with the theology, talk about it, but I would point you, because you're gonna want to listen. You got to listen to something this week. Mm-hmm. You got saved yesterday. You're gonna want to listen to something this week. Well, here's who I would recommend listening to.
Sure. Well, I learned real quick that you can't really go to the Walmart shelf and get a lot of good stuff. Or
a Christian bookstore.
Yeah, no, I tried both. I think there was a Lifeway at the Mall of Georgia, and I went there, and I was just like, what is this? And I picked up a band off the shelf called Third Day, and they looked like a bunch of hippies, and I thought, this is not the Christianity that I got saved into, and I really struggled. This was like from day one, this was a problem in my Christian life. But one thing I learned, and I'm just thinking about this now, reminiscing, I learned Christian music by example from my local church.
Absolutely.
And I don't know. It seems like there's this mentality out there. It's like, I listen to this music, but I wouldn't play it in church. And I don't know. Have you heard people say that before?
Well, probably all of us do that to an extent. I'm going to listen to Elvis Presley sing "How Great Thou Art." I don't care what you think about it, Brother Spencer, but because you ain't gonna find anybody that sings it better than him. But at the same time, I would not let him come through our speakers. You know?
Yeah. Well, just make sure you listen to a version where it's not live, where he's stoned when he's singing that. That's a better way to make sure. Yeah. Just add that caveat to your.
I know exactly what you're saying. Well, and even if you pull out, you can pull out. Let me think of an old cathedrals. Let's go with cathedrals. Mm-hmm. That's an old conservative Southern gospel group. You're going to listen to Glenn Payne as far as singing, Glenn Payne was always my hero. I loved Glenn Payne, loved how he sang.
Mm.
But if you pull out one of their old CDs, you might have I'm Free or something like that, a great song like that. And then turn around, you got Climbing Higher and Higher, which is a horrible, dumb song. I mean, just dumb. But that was on the number one track. That was the first track on that CD. I'm not necessarily going to hit the skip button. I'm just going to listen to it, keep moving to the next one. But at the same time, I have the understanding that is a terrible, dumb song. It's ridiculous. So it is what it is. So, but I'm not going to say, Spencer, you need to skip that song. Higher and higher, you're backslid. I'm not going to do that. But
yeah. Well,
there is that balance of something I might listen to in my car that I would not. I'm not singing Climbing Higher and Higher in church.
Sure.
That's just so dumb. But I'm not listening to Glenn singing in the car.
Right. I learned just going when I went to Peachtree Road, they had some great music there, and it kind of steered me in the right direction. And I remember there's one time, this was back when we had cassette tapes, and I was listening to a cassette tape, and I just pulled a guy and I said, "Hey, is this music contemporary?" And I said, "Just let me play this for you." And he goes, "Yeah, that's contemporary. You want to stay away from that stuff." And it just turned out that this guy was like a crazy neo nutcase, and I just had no idea. It was soft and had a real generic sound to it, whatever. But I found that it was emotionally driven, is what a lot of this stuff is.
Right.
And nothing wrong with emotions, but country music can stir your emotions, but that don't mean it's provoking you to godliness or something like that. And I think that's what a lot of this music is doing.
Right. Oh, absolutely, no doubt. It's trying to get a reaction. It's to a degree a form of manipulation, and I'm not saying that necessarily that writer is sitting there thinking, "Hey, I need to manipulate these people." But that is what you're doing. You're playing on people's emotions, and that can be very dangerous.
Yeah, it sure can. And I think that's what a lot of stuff is doing today.